Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Alongside me, as always, is the red man to my ODB. It's Max, everyone. And on what is it, Sunday? On Sunday, we wear yellow, I guess.
Exactly. I guess I'm your yellow man to your ODB. I like that comparison, by the way. Very.
Yeah, right?
Very.
Topic. Double entendre with the ODB.
That's true. But unfortunately, there's never been a red man in. Well, I guess Amazing Red.
Amazing Red, man.
There you go. Look at us go.
Brains together. All right, guys. It feels like it's been forever, and a lot has happened since we talked last. So we're not going to waste any time. We'll get into it rather quickly. We'll hit the quick 7, hopefully within 7 minutes times 2, 14 minutes, like we're supposed to, but probably
45 minutes later.
But at the very end, we're going to go with a too soon, not too soon Slammiversary prediction game where we just kind of say one word that represents each match, we give our opinions, and we go from there. All right. So let's get right into the headlines.
All righty. Alrighty. And now with headlines. Headline number 1. Anthem Wrestling Expeditions. Impact's umbrella company has requested a $150,000 to $300,000 loan from the PPP. What are your thoughts, and what does this mean?
All right. First of all, did I really? What's it say on there? Expeditions or exhibitions?
Maybe it says exhibitions. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is exhibitions. Okay, there you go. Look at you go.
Well, I thought it was on me, honestly. Okay. So yeah, no, that's been a topic of discussion. I guess Fightful or whoever put it out there, kind of as if like it's a bad thing. My personal opinion is good. I mean, to see a company look at what's going on around them, realize they still want to pay their employees instead of furloughing them or cutting them. They're asking to help pay the salaries of their staff. So I don't see what's wrong. Now, if you don't do that and they're laying off people and not getting a loan and not trying to find any avenue to keep their talent, then I'd be worried. But I don't think it's a negative thing.
No, I agree. I mean, it's not a situation where they fired everybody and now they're asking for money.
Right.
If that was the case, I would be a little concerned. If you're like, hey, we can't pay our employees, but we need $300,000. But yeah, I mean, they're obviously not making as much as they were before because they can't do a lot of things. So I think asking for the money, it's what companies do who in these situations. I mean, there are some really big companies that file for some of this stuff. So this isn't something like, this isn't Kmart and Sears over here asking for these companies and you're throwing them with them. So I don't think it's that big a deal. I think I agree with you. It just shows that they're looking to get their employees paid as opposed to, like you said, furloughing them or firing people. So not a big deal.
The furloughed and fired people, we'll get to that in a second, of the WWE, obviously some of them already have found a new home in Impact. So in that regard, it's good, but no one wants to lose their job in this time. Like, who knows when this will end? To have your boss, I guess boss's boss, technically, looking for options to make sure that doesn't happen is pretty cool. I guess I would be happy with it.
So all right. Headline number 2. The FTW Championship was given to Moose my apologies. The FTW Championship was given to Brian Cage on an episode of AEW. Sorry, I got confused there. Why isn't there more outrage, laughter, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to skip why there isn't because it's the AEW effect. It's the Hot Topic crew. No matter what happens there, it's golden. Now, we're pro wrestling, but I'm going to be real. Like, if this was, I think people can see that now that we're transparent. We say what's that we actually feel compared to what would be PC or us trying to get a job with the company. It's just, we're saying what's honest to us. And if there was a time where the talent wasn't getting paid, like when Dixie was in charge, we'd be talking about it right now as well. When it comes to that last topic. But now, as far as the this topic, I knew it was going to be on there. Like, I just knew it was going to be. I don't want to shit on them because I think there are a lot of things they do well. Anytime that there's competition as well, I think on any scale, if I like it or not, or agree with everything they do, it's good for the business, right? Good for this. Do I think when you take away the hoopla and the crowds and just go talent for talent, creativity, who's better? I still think it's Impact. They're just in a great place and they're adding more talent to do that with. That's my personal opinion. But what I'm saying is I'm not biased enough to disregard the good things they do. But I read this reaction from, I think it was Mike Johnson, PW Insider, who said someone asked him about, is this a blatant ripoff? And his response was, would you call Moose doing it when Taz originally did this in 1998 a ripoff? So is Moose doing a ripoff of that? And I thought to myself, first of all, yes, every storyline in wrestling has been done. It's been done. I mean, this side of sleeping with a dead, nope, Triple H slept with a dead person. So, you know what I mean? Like, everything's been done. You think of it's been done. It's the timing of it. Moose is literally on television for not 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4. I think we're going on almost 2 months of this, of talking about a championship, defending the championship, while Tessa is away and now we know never coming back. But it's literally a show that's airing now. It's not 1998 to 2020. We're talking about now. And yeah, it's a fucking ripoff. It's a ripoff. No matter how they swing it, I don't know how it's not that blatant to other people. People had said, well, FTW belt was here first or whatever. That belt had 2 champions, Taz and Sabu. The belt meant nothing then. It means nothing now. I don't know. I'm at loss how big that is.
So, in a bubble, if you don't take into account what Impact's doing, I think it's super smart by AEW. Same reason why I thought it was super smart by Moose. Your champion's sick. They can't be there. This gives you a storyline to push forward. Smart idea. But the problem is, like you said, Impact is doing this exact storyline right now. They were doing it first. This isn't like, and yes, every storyline has been a copy. The NWO, or sorry, Bullet Club is basically a copy of the NWO, who was a copy of a New Japan storyline.
Everything's been done.
But it'd be different if the WWE put out the old World Order at the same time the new World Order was going on. Like, that's the issue, is that you can copy things, but to literally do it at the exact same time, it makes you look like you can't figure out what's going on, and you're just stealing from people. And good for them that their fans can ignore that, because their fans spend they probably don't watch Impact because they spend all their time shitting on WWE. Like, doesn't matter what, and that's my thing, is that I think this is a smart thing for them to do. I just don't like the timing. I feel like you're literally stealing something that's going on right now in Impact. Like, come up with your own storylines, man.
Here's how I'll compare it to something we're familiar with, and I won't go into too much details of who this goes for and whose life, we'll say. It's like Impact is, or on AEW side, you could say it's a good business decision because no one watches Impact. They don't know what's going on. They think they're ripping off AEW compared to vice versa because they're tunnel vision. But what's bad business is, say, Impact in the future. The same reason I always compare the same thing with Mick Foley. You never beat on your opponent down to nothing and say he's nothing, because if you beat him, it means nothing. If you lose to him, well, I guess then it means something. But you know what I mean? Like, you look horrible if you lose. They're not doing that to Impact. They're not shitting on anything like that. But they're filming content after 8 weeks of content that Impact put out. So say Impact rises to the occasion at some point, and maybe they're not in big arenas or anything like that, but they take that next step in the eyes of the viewership and in perception in the world of wrestling. People then go back and watch footage because you can pay $7.99 or get 3 months free or whatever it is with the Impact Plus app, and you catch up with Impact. And you say, whoa, what the hell? They did this storyline 2 months prior and we're still doing it? At the same time, Tony Khan came up with this great idea for the FTW Championship. So right now, it might be good business if you have that tunnel vision, you're trying to please your audience. But if Impact comes back and they're silent about this and they don't make, a big deal out of it, and they move forward and they reach heights, it's going to kick AEW in the ass, I think, in the back.
Yeah, but the only thing I'll say with that is, I mean, their fans don't care. I mean, they're not like. I watch AEW. I watch NXT. I record NXT. I don't have the what's it called anymore, the network.
Yeah.
But when I did, I would just watch the network. I would just watch NXT on the network on like a Saturday morning. I would always watch AEW because I guess there is a TNT app, but I don't have it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Whatever. But then all you hear is people, even people out there like wrestling, like big people in the business. Oh, AEW won in this and, in the demographic that matters. That's all they care about. But no one is like, well, yeah, because people aren't watching. People are picking and choosing which one to watch, and they'll just say, I'll watch AEW now, I'll watch this one later. Like, no one cares. Like, people who like AEW are super hard AEW marks. They're never going to go back. If they go back and they see that Impact is doing this, they're somehow going to spin it to, oh, well, Impact found out that AEW was going to do it and stole the idea and put it on first. Like, it's that kind of thing where, unfortunately, they're so focused on that it doesn't matter what happens. Like, there could be the greatest match ever on WWE, and they'll just be like, that's crap. This match between Chris Jericho and Taz that lasted for 7 seconds was better than it. Like, it's just the way their fans are, and a lot of their fans are, I should say, unfortunately. So,
right, yeah. And that makes more sense. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, why would that change?
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea for them to do the FTW Championship because it is a good way to do it. But once again, you're doing it at the same time Impact is. So, topic number 3, or headline number 3, is many other wrestlers have mentioned July 18th, including the Club, EC3, Slater, Ryder, and /or Atlanta, like Don Callis, Mike and Maria, David Penzer. What's going on?
Yeah. No, keep going. I was saying.
That's it. What's going on?
Oh, okay.
That's all I got to say.
I was confused by the Atlanta and George thing. I got it. Yeah, so to bring everyone up to speed there, so we all know that allegedly, we'll call them the Club until they debut and have names, or a group name. So we'll just say the Club.
They're just going to be the Bullet this time. They were the Club. They're just going to be the Bullet.
So they're filming something allegedly for Talkin' Shop Mania. You could see them as Sex Ferguson and Chad Be Good or whatever it is, or Chad Be Bad. Too bad? Chad Too Bad? Anyways, yeah, so supposedly they're filming something for that. And it has the likes of, I mean, they've already announced, I think, Scott D'Amore's in it, Enzo Amore, which I think we'll talk about. Just random people, I think Ryder, Slater. And pictures keep coming out of that. At the same time, Don Callis was on Aftershock, and he was in Atlanta and talking about being there on someone's as a guest and all this stuff. And then Mike and Maria were flying to Atlanta, and David Penzer flew to Atlanta. So it was an idea that maybe they're actually filming stuff for Impact or Slammiversary. But I won't get too far on that because we are going to get into Slammiversary. I know EC3, I don't know if I mentioned him, he just recently said, they asked him if he's going to be at Slammiversary. He said, I will fight on July 18th, whatever. I think that maybe because they can only have still, the restrictions are there, I believe, X amount of people in the building at once. They're filming these little things and that are going to take place. And once again, I don't want to jump too far ahead. I just think everyone right now is working on and collaborating something. I don't know if it's for Impact. I don't know if it's for just the clubs thing, their vlog or whatever. I don't know. But either way, it's got people talking. It's exciting. Are they or aren't they? I don't really care at this point because it's pretty cool to have buzz about Impact.
So I definitely think some of those guys are coming. I also wouldn't be surprised if they bring them in, I guess I want to say stages, but I guess waves. Have a couple on here, maybe like you said, do a video package where you see, 4 of them together.
Right.
And then you're saying, oh, these guys are going to be, or you see 2 of them and then there's 2 that you don't know. Something like that to kind of spread it out because unfortunately, let's just say they're getting 6 guys, just throwing out a number.
Right.
If they dump all 6 of those at Slammiversary, people are going to watch Slammiversary to see these 6 guys. And then they may watch, they may not. But if they're getting 6 guys and you bring out 2 of them at Slammiversary, well, now you got 4 more guys that are going to come out. So I'm going to keep watching to figure out 1, who is it, and 2, what are they going to do? So I agree with you that I do think a lot of these guys are coming, but I could see them doing something as like filming a skit or filming a video package, or some of them being there for the Slammiversary, maybe some of them being there for something else.
Right. That's fair. I agree with you there. I think I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. There's a lot of stuff to come with Slammiversary.
So number 4 is Bully Ray is done with ROH. Do you think he'll return to lead the Aces and Eights again?
Do I think it's in the works that he's coming to Impact for a stint, long period of time, something? Yes, I do think he is. And I think it goes straight to the fact that his contract ended. I didn't know anything about it. But on his radio show that's really popular with Dave LaGreca or whatever his name is, that's not a diss, I just don't know his name. They're very much, as soon as that contract ended, once I found out it did, afterwards, that's when they started talking good about Impact. They were kind about Impact, and everything Impact's doing is great, and da-da-da-da, and all this stuff. He started dropping hints with the TESSA thing originally, too. So I think it's not a matter of is he or isn't he. I think he is, unless something crazy happens. Is it for a bigger role as leader of Aces and Eights? When you could put someone maybe younger in there, like an EC3 or someone that needs that group? Yeah, I would prefer that. But I would like to see, for nostalgic purposes, him back in some role, even if it's a member, like you're saying, kind of slow roll everybody out. You get on a masking, oh, it's Bully Ray, but we have a new leader, whatever it may be. So I think there's a role for him somewhere. It'd be cool to see him back on television, especially since he left in such a kind of shitty way. But the key is, do we want him there? After all the stuff that he said about Impact, now he continuously goes out his way to shit on it and stuff. I can look past that if he's going to be a team player and bring good entertainment. Problem is he's kind of old now, and I don't know what he looks like, to be honest with you. I think we've talked about this. We haven't kept up on. If he comes in and he's in shape and he's willing to go and be a team player and a great locker room leader. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd like it if the circumstances are right. I don't want to spend too much time on that.
So, what? I'm Googling what he looks like.
Yeah,
I can't.
All right, cool.
While I'm doing this, so it would help if I could spell Bubba correctly. So, one, I do think he'll come back to Impact. because to me, I think that Impact is the best situation for him. He doesn't have a history in AEW, so going there, like you said, at his age, he's not going to be vaulted to an elite level, I guess would be the easiest way to say it. So he's 48 years old, by the way.
48?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Time.
I know. So, I mean, you got to think he was in ECW before the Attitude Era.
He was in ECW 24 years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, 1995 is when he started in ECW, according to Wikipedia. But back to what I was saying. So he doesn't have the history with AEW. They're not at 48 years old. They're obviously not going to vault him to any type of do anything with him. Unless he says, I want to be done wrestling. I want to do one last final hurrah at WWE. I don't think there's a reason for him to go back there, because at the same time, I think when you have a wrestler like that, similar to how Kurt Angle kind of did his last thing, like I think that would be when he goes back to WWE. But if he still wants to do stuff, I think that him being the leader of Aces and Eights, not an in-ring leader, but a out-of-the-ring mouthpiece.
Kind of like Taz was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be perfect for him. I think, like you said, you bring him out first. Either he gets unmasked or whatever, and then he can slowly bring in people. It goes back to what we were saying before, where you have these guys, you don't want to bring them all out at once. I think Aces and Eights is a great I think it was a great group. I mean, you could also rename them to the Light Order or whatever the hell AEW has their people, and he can be evil, dose, whatever. I mean, hey, if AEW is going to steal stuff from them, just just straight copy all their storylines and see what happens. But no, I think Aces and Eights, Evil Ocho is what he would be, by the way. There we go. But no, I think him being on Aces and Eights, I think Aces and Eights coming back is smart, because I think it was a good group. I think it's enough time has passed that it's not like you're just.
Well, yeah, just before not to everybody.
So.
No, I agree with you. I think we talked about it extensively on here, but I never thought about it in that way, which is really cool. I mean, like, if you think, say he comes out, just no mask, nothing. Hey, I'm Bully Ray. I'm Aces and Eights, but I'm no longer in charge here. Like, they're coming. You know what I mean? And one by one, he brings these people in. That's cool. And you slow roll it. You get a pop every week or every other. When people turn, if the Aces and Eights was done right, because I remember when Taz, and for some reason it just triggered a memory when I said it, because I haven't thought about it in forever, but I remember the wedding thing and Taz taking off his best man, even though it was in a weird place and I didn't really like the Hogan era. That was kind of cool. And it still had that feeling of, recently, I think it was what Rich Swann originally when he came in and OV was trying to recruit him, like that cool NWO-like vibe of, here's the shirt, put it on, or take it off, and reveal. That has been missing from wrestling for quite a while, since the internet, really, because spoilers are hard to keep. And in this era where you can do something like that, because right now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, there's no crowd. So no one's going to tell what's happening weekly besides the wrestlers, and that's not going to get out. So if they don't want to. So it would be really dope. I think it's something they should play on or could do, especially if he comes in that way. I like that. So that's good.
So number 5, Kurt Angle turned down a new WWE contract and opportunity to manage Matt Riddle. He has been teased, but do you think he'll come to Impact to wrestle?
That's hard, man. Because if I were answering this from Kurt Angle's perspective, I would imagine Kurt Angle's still Kurt Angle, and he has that fire in him that says, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. That's not saying it's right or it's healthy. I don't know that. But obviously we know what we know when he was in WWE. what he looked like with the arthritis kind of kicked in there after all, because when he was in Impact, he kept going and going and kept his body in that form. But once you're that age, and I'm not sure what he is, if he's
51.
51. Okay, is that Jericho's around the same, I think?
I mean, probably.
But I don't think Jericho's really taken care of, so I don't think
Jericho's 49.
49. But I don't think he's had many injuries like Angle, broken neck.
He also takes, Angle was injured going into the Olympics in 96.
So, and that's a broken neck.
Yeah.
So then you should wrestle for whatever. 96 he's been wrestling, so 24 years. Holy Lord. 24 keeps popping up here, Max. Played a lot of it. But the selfish person in me wishes he had one more in him. Even if it's see, that's the problem, though. That's the great debate, right? Do you want to see your heroes what you remember them as, or do you want to see, we saw Hogan and Sting together and Bound for Glory. We were there in person. We were still excited. But did you want to see the outcome? You know what I mean? Like, it's a good feeling and it's cool, but do you want to remember them like that? Especially in person. I don't think so. I don't know. Not a doctor.
So I'm pretty sure the match was at one of the Saudi Arabia shows with WWE when they had Shawn Michaels and Triple H wrestle The Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Those four guys back in 2000, who would have blown the roof off the place? When they wrestled in Saudi Arabia, the roof could have collapsed, and it probably would have been better than watching them wrestle.
Was it that bad?
It was horrible. If they can still go, I want to see them. I want to see AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. I don't want to see the better than average AJ Styles, though. That's the thing. So you get to a point where you just can't go. Like Chris Jericho, he's not the same person he was in WCW or in like that. But he can still do his stuff. But yeah, Kurt Angle, though, to me, his last run in WWE was rough. Like, there were times when you were just like, man, like this match is hard to watch. It's very similar to when you're watching The Undertaker wrestle. Now, if he comes back and does stuff like The Undertaker did, which is the comedic, like,
well, you mean graveyard, cinematic.
Graveyard match. Yeah, where you do like a cinematic match, or you're doing things to where, because those things are also part comedy, things like that. I would be okay with him coming back and doing matches like that.
Okay.
But I don't want to come back and see him just in the ring, because that to me is just, he's past that point.
Oh, no, sorry, continue.
So as I was saying, so I think if he comes back, I think him turning down the opportunity to manage Matt Riddle is good for Matt Riddle, because I just think Matt Riddle is better by himself, just his style. It would not mesh with Kurt Angle. But I think if he comes back and does like the cinematic stuff, Final Deletion, Boneyard match, that's good. But if he comes back to actually wrestle, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, and it stings because as you say that, you're like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't want to, when you talk it out loud, you don't want to see that out of him. I mean, it makes that when AJ and the club were originally supposed to sign with Impact right before the Royal Rumble, or we thought they were, and then that mess happened, embarrassment. That was like going to happen. A debut, like AJ was going to come out after vignettes they had already filmed and wrestle Kurt Angle live in, I think they were Wembley. Yeah, Wembley.
Wembley.
Why is it somewhere? Is it English? But anyways, yeah, so it's bad. I'm going to cut that out. But it makes the sting of that even worse. Because now what could have been, we really didn't get that last AJ, Kurt Angle, good hurrah. And that kind of sucks. So it does make that worse, but not living in the past, in the present, I agree with you. It would be hard to do that. Those graveyard matches could work. He's very good at the comedic stuff. I honestly think if he appeared on television and said, "Hey, I heard you guys were hiring," like I would geek out. Like that'd be so funny. So I hope that happens. But wrestling, I'm with you, man. It kind of sucks.
So that is all for our headlines. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the quick 7. All right, and we are back with the quick 7. We're going to try and follow and make these somewhat quick 7s. So we'll each say one thing. The first one for the quick 7 is Super Eric returns? ?
Okay, because obviously you saw the vignette. I don't know if it came on before we did our last show, but either way. So yeah, you see him picking up the cape and the mask at the end of the episode. My first initial thought was like, oh man, because the Elgin stuff, they had to change the Team Canada plan. Obviously, I didn't know anything. So I was never a fan of the Super Eric gimmick. It was fun for a little bit, where it worth in. But could I see him being in that match we kind of alluded to as Super Eric with everyone being different characters? Yes, I can see that.
What's the Hurricane up to right now?
He was fired. Yeah, he was fired.
Well, maybe he can come back with Super Eric and they can be a dynamic duo.
I'm cool with that.
Outside of that, I'd prefer him to be
psychotic.
The psychotic. I think to me that's the better Eric Young. That's the one that interests me more. But maybe Super Eric transitions into that. That would be pretty good.
That's cool. So yeah. I love that.
Excited about Super Eric, but we'll see. Number 2, the Beautiful People teased.
Yeah. So I used to love Angelina Love, and I think she's a good wrestler. And that group, I thought it was a great gimmick, very entertaining. But I think part of me knows that if with Bully comes, Velvet must soon be following. Don't know her ROH contract, but I'm not the biggest fan. I know everyone's surprised when I say that, but the people that, I don't know, the act that they were was good for the times. Now it could still work. They tried in ROH. Could care less either way. Saying that.
I like the Beautiful People. I like Velvet. I think she's not necessarily a good in-ring talent, but I think that she is a good manager. I think she fits the Beautiful People role as kind of the sideline person to Angelina really well. So I think that would work. I also think you can bring her back and she could kind of fill the Tessmacher role in Aces and Eights.
Right.
So that as well. So I mean, I think I would like to have him there. I mean, my only issue is Impact's women's roster is kind of deep.
It is.
Do they now? If you're bringing back the tag belts, though, they're an instant tag team. But if you're not bringing back the tag belts, or you're not going to use them as a tag team, I think the roster may be too deep for them. But if you're like, hey, we're going to have these people go after tag belts, I think they are an established tag team and would be a great first champion to kind of...
Oh, what?
Well, because... So, if you're going to have a first champion, they have to be a heel. Because then you have to have... Because to me, if you make it heels, then whoever you want is your original faces to win it, it gives them something to push for, an instant feud to where they're the underdogs, not the champions.
Fair, but I think when you do an inaugural one, you kind of have to just suck it up and do the hokey.
I mean, the Beautiful People are vintage TNA, so they work as well for that.
All right, next one.
The next one is Amazing Red teased.
Okay, so Amazing Red was kind of lost in the shuffle when the whole TNA No Place Like Home thing was canceled, and then obviously no one knows what's going on. I love Amazing Red. When he's in that ring, he's just a trend. It was a trendsetter when he started. He's a legend now. Character-wise, I get it, but he's Amazing Red. That's all. That's what he needs to be. He's a legend TNA X Division wrestler. That's all he has to be. Go out there, have some matches, give us the nostalgia. I don't know his age. I think he's probably in late 30s as well, mid 30s, somewhere around there. I know he wanted to retire because of neck problems, so I can't see him doing a full schedule. Even though the full schedule for Impact is pretty light.
38.
38. Okay. We'll see. Would I want him back though? Yes, I would love him back.
I mean, you throw him, Super Eric, the Hurricane, with him with Sangriento. Bam, you just build yourselves. I mean, once again, he's in the ring. I enjoy watching him. Character-wise, never been one of my favorites. But I do. Unfortunately, I kind of feel like if you're bringing in some of the other names on that list, I feel like he gets kind of pushed to the side. But I do think bringing him in temporarily, have him doing some X Division stuff, could give you a good push in the X Division because he is an X Division wrestler. Right. So I think if he comes in for that, like you said, not doing a full rotation, maybe here and there, I think that would be smart. But I don't think it should be a full thing.
I think he can have a nice little run, where because Moose is doing the TNA thing, there could be I think that Slammiversary thing is going to have a big, we'll get to that, but a big TNA kind of cinema, what can I say now?
Cinematic?
Thank you. Jeez, what time is it? 2 a.m? Yeah, a cinematic thing where we'll get into that later, but I think he could do the TNA thing, but then he can also slip to the X Division because he, like you said, he is the prototypical X Division guy when you think of the X Division. So either way, I'd be excited.
Next one is Jake CRIST upset.
Yeah. Okay. So Jake CRIST, obviously we had a whole headline on him, I think, last time. As hopefully it wouldn't affect his status. But he was putting out some weird cryptic tweets, and then also that he feels like he's getting punished for someone else's crime. So you could kind of put the pieces together there, unless it's a storyline. That's upsetting because I think he's a talented dude. It sucks that his brother's actions would affect him. That doesn't really make sense. If that was the case, Kurt Angle would be in jail. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but seriously, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be punished.
Yeah.
And I don't think maybe that's the case. Maybe he's not going to be using Slammiversary or the taping after. Maybe he still has a job, but it's not what he's used to as far as Spotlight or what his role is right now. It's undetermined, especially with all these people coming in. So I feel bad for him. I hope it's not the case, but time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think I hate to say it, I would be upset too. If, like you said, if something that somebody else did was causing you to lose things. Now, obviously, if they had a plan going on and things change, you can get pushed to the side while they redevelop a plan for you. They can't just, similar to RV, if you're a part of I'm sure they're going to have to completely redo RVD because cancel culture. So you can't.
From two angles is the problem, because if RVD just needs to be repackaged, we put you on asylum, we figure it out, we put you in there. And that could have been Jake CRIST. But in real life, his brother is his partner, and not that he's responsible for him, but.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can't stick him as a tag team because his brother's gone. So if you were going to do something with him in that, so you kind of have to develop how you want to go about it. So I hope that's what's going on. I hope that's what TNA is doing. I hope they're like, hey, we're not, removing you. We're just going to figure out what we want to do with you, and then we'll give you that push. But I mean, I understand if he's upset because he feels like things that he didn't do are causing him to, be passed over, him being punished. I can understand that.
Same. So
TESSA in WWE.
Okay, so I'm guessing the rumor has it that Evolution 2 and one was a success. And I'm not saying that other than what lasting effect did it have. It's unfortunate. but I'm glad that we have a great knockouts division. Just want to say that. But I think a lot of those women that are in WWE deserve a bigger chance. If they get another pay-per-view and opportunity, awesome. I'm all for it. I'd watch it. Because I think they have a lot of talent that aren't getting the chance to shine. So in Evolution 2, I'm all for. That being said, Tessa's allegedly predicted to sign with them right before that and debut on that, and her be a big thing. Good for her. She couldn't go to AEW because I don't think they have the clout to put out the fire that is Tessa Blanchard. I think it's when you go to the Patriots, you kind of put up or shut up, do it our way or get the hell out of here. And I think WWE, they are the Patriots of wrestling. They are the top of the line, be all say all. So if you don't make it there, then chances are you're probably not going to make it elsewhere. For better or lack of better terms. So good for her. I hope she kills it. I don't wish bad upon anyone. As many jokes as I may make. But it's ballsy to, in this climate, bring her on. It feels like, well, this is a different show, but WWE's taking a lot of chances around this time.
I'm just ready for the her and Ricochet storyline.
Oh, yeah.
So, no, I mean, they'll stick her at NXT. I mean, I think it's going to be hopefully it's kind of a wake-up call for her because I don't think she's a big enough star to where she can kind of come in there and do what she wants and push people around. They'll real quickly just tell you to have a nice day because she's not – I mean, let's be realistic. They've done it with other people, and to me, some of their biggest and best people are at NXT still. A lot of the guys from ROH. But so she'll go there, but she's not someone who can who pull any weights. If she tries to do what she did in Impact, I think they're just going to cut her loose. And at that point, you've now burned a bridge with Impact. This will be your second, time you've burned a bridge with WWE. So I'll be interested to see if she actually does fully sign there or if they have her come on for the pay-per-view because similar to like the Mae Young Classic, they can bring you in, not sign you, and then see how does it go with her and then kind of go from there. So we'll see.
I think they would have a longer time to take a look at her because someone can fake it for as long as they want. And I also don't think she's a bad person. So maybe she's maturing. Yeah. And by that time, she'll be good. Maybe this is a wake-up call. I don't think she burned the bridge to WWE. Obviously, there was still some interaction there on a path back, but I agree with you. There needs to be some time. But once again, later, I mean, we don't have to.
So next one is Enzo with the club.
Okay, as far as the 18th thing, it's separate because I think it's a good topic. Obviously, it's something we could go longer on. But Enzo, I said it on last time, I'm all for someone redeeming themselves. Obviously, if there's, I won't get into prison reform and all that shit, but I'm saying if you did something that's suspect and idiotic and immature, I think you could still come back from that as long as you grow. If you do something illegal, then that's a different conversation. But with that being said, I think everyone deserves a second chance. Once again, Tessa's a great transition for this topic. If he nails it, awesome. I don't even know what he's doing. Maybe he's filming just for that Talking Shop Mania thing, or maybe he's going to appear somehow in Slammiversary. I think he's as talented as they come on the mic. Sometimes a little too much, but who knows if that was WWE writing some of this stuff. Because he got weird after NXT, I feel like. It changed a little bit. But there's no doubt, no matter how you feel or I feel about him personally, that he's a talented dude. Same in Elgin's case. Talented dude, you get the maturity there, you got a star. We'll see what happens.
So, like I said, I love him on the mic. Not a big fan of. I mean, I don't think he's great in ring.
Right.
But I think if you stick them together, I think that could be interesting. I think my problem is.
I mean, like if you could take Amazing Red's wrestling skills.
Oh yeah. Him. Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Yeah, him and Amazing Red. Yes. If you took Amazing Red's wrestling skills and his mic skills, yes, that'd be awesome. The amazing Enzo. But with him with the club, I don't know. Like they've had.
Oh, you mean like as in a try, like them three together?
If they
I don't think you meant that. No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, does they actually mean like, is he actually going to be a part of them?
Oh,
I think him being in. I'm trying to think who you could, because I feel like he works best with somebody.
Yeah.
Like when it was Enzo and Cass, like he works similar to how EC3 and Rockstar Spud worked well together. He works really well with a big guy who isn't great on the mic that he can be the front man for. So I think if they have something like that, I mean, good on him. I do think he deserves a second shot. I think he got a really raw deal with.
Frankie's being a freaking crazy person.
Your cat's being crazy. I do think he got a really raw deal with WWE. I think he rubbed some people the wrong way, and when everything went down, I think WWE saw this as their chance to just be like, we're done with you. But we'll see. So last one is the biggest needle mover.
Hey, needle mover. So out of all the rumors and the buzz that Impact's getting right now, what is the biggest thing that could happen that could be a needle mover? As a joke, I had said on the old Twitter machine that CM Punk would be a huge needle mover. I mean, or hinted at something, but that would be some shit. That'd be game changer, world changer. Do I think that's going to happen? No, it's going to happen. But realistically, the biggest needle mover is just going to be the execution of what they do with these people. They have one shot at making aces and eights or this cinematic thing at what I think is going to happen at Slammiversary happen, and that's it. You get this one shot. Don't mess it up. If they nail that and it's the talk of the town, they're on the right path. So that's going to be the needle one. I think everyone collectively doing their part in it being creative and awesome and fun is what needs to happen.
I'm going to go with probably the answer everybody would guess. I'm going to go with the club with Anderson and Gallows.
Right.
And here's why. When they were in... What?
I got to give you props.
Yeah, exactly. That was all me. When they were in New Japan, they were amazing. They were one of the top tag teams, in my opinion, in the world. They came to WWE, massive hype around them. They came out of the crowd. Oh my God, they're teamed with AJ. AJ was a heel. They were beating up Cena. And then they turned in the guys who wrestled with pumpkins on their heads. And the WWE just kind of tanked them. They can get back to where they were because it wasn't a deterioration of skill that caused them to. It was just the WWE not using. So this isn't a situation like for me, whoever that dude was that was part of the Wyatt family, who's now running Brody, whatever his name is.
Brody.
Him. Yeah, it's not something like Heath Slater, who he's been in WWE for so long doing his comedy stuff that there's not this guy's like those guys are powerhouses. I think if they come out and they just tear down, I think they would move the needle. I think especially if you stick them with somebody like Bully Ray, I think you instantly give yourself a 3-person group that can, cause people to tune in.
I know it's cliche, but I think EC3 with them, man.
I think EC3 would work well too.
The mouthpiece and then them chiming in. Oh,
yeah.
All right, cool. So I guess we're gonna. That was fun and relatively on time. Frankie's gonna knock down the camera. So we're gonna take a break, and then that was the last one, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll go in our too soon, not too soon Slammiversary predictions.
is the day. Where the past,
aside from the money they've saved, all they've got left to show for what they did is their legacy. I am still the it factor of professional wrestling.
and the present. Become our future.
To live and die in LAX.
These are the stars of Impact Wrestling. We've cheered them. We've idolized them.
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, this is the impact zone. Yes, I am the Stinger. Woo!
But today,
I'm telling all of you, especially the young women out there, that with hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and fighting for what you believe in, that dreams can come true. And I am living proof.
we welcome them. Because today, we build. We build a brand, a roster, a team. 90 men and women will be chosen. Who will go where? Where will you pledge your allegiance? The time has come. Our time is now. TNAIW presents Draft Day 2020.
All right, so Slammiversary, not too soon prediction. So what we're gonna do here, if you're not too familiar with Pardon the Eruption, but we're gonna talk. He's gonna mention a match happening at Slammiversary. We're gonna give a one-word answer that we think describes that match or how we feel, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Obviously, there's another episode of Impact or two. I don't know math before the pay-per-view. So this is early, but let's see where we go with this. I think there's 6 matches as it stands right now.
Yes.
Okay. So let's start at the bottom, or what they have at the bottom.
Okay, number 6 is Moose, the champion, versus Tommy Dreamer.
Okay.
Old school rules match for the unsanctioned, or it's bracketed, TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. I'm gonna first one word. Do you have something first?
I do. It's 2 words. It's all elite. I mean, this is.
I'm gonna say interesting. And do you want to go and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, no. I mean, I if I had to pick a word, I think it could. I don't.
Word, man.
I think interesting. It works. Where I'm going is because I really want to see how they continue to do this. Like, obviously, I don't think Moose is losing the title, but I want to see, and not to Tommy Dreamer.
No, not to Tommy Dreamer. No.
Like, eventually he will, but he's not going to lose to Tommy Dreamer right now. And I just really want to see. I'm interested to see where this storyline goes. Does he beat Tommy Dreamer and then someone who held the actual TNA title come out? Like, how does that go? Like, that's what I'm interested to see.
So I said interesting. Normally not a word that I admittedly would put with Tommy Dreamer in a match, at least in the last whatever years. Love Tommy, but I mean, we just talked about it. But I said interesting here because everything coming full circle. Where does Moose live? Atlanta, I believe he lives in Atlanta.
Sure.
Don was the guest of somebody in Atlanta. All these people went to Atlanta. They had a bunch of people filming cameos in some kind of cinematic thing. Why would you bring your announcer, David Penzer, to Atlanta? There has to be something, right? Maybe this match, they go through that curtain, and whatever they filmed in Atlanta is what we see. So you get Enzo and Amazing Red and the Club and Super Eric and all these, all these things. Shark Boy, of course, because they always throw his ass in there. There's so many things that they can do here with this that I don't think it's really going to be Tommy versus Moose, or at least I hope. So optimistic could be another word, but I'll stick with interesting.
Okay. Number 5, the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, the champions, versus Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan.
Okay,
Tag team match for the Impact Tag Team Championships.
All right, one word. If you have it, you go first.
I'm praying.
Praying.
I'm praying to God that the North does not lose.
Okay. I'm going to say... Confused? I'm going to say confused.
Okay.
Because they could have put anyone against the North, and then they would have been more formidable. The Rascals, Reno Scum, Triple XL. I don't care. The Deaners, for God's sakes. The Beautiful People. Anyone would be more believable, formidable than two guys who have hated each other for so long, or in the story. And when I originally heard the announcement on paper, I was like, oh, why, man? Why do I want to see this? I don't. But then you think about it, Impact always, when you have those whys, no matter if it's Johnny Swinger or something else, they've always came through so far in this era for me. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say I'm confused as to why they are the opponents when there's other people. There has to be something up here. Maybe I'm wrong about the first match, and maybe actually the Club comes out here or something, or they're attacked in the back, or whatever it may be. I don't know.
That's similar to your statement. That's why I said I'm praying. Because, looking through the card, now, although I don't want Tommy Dreamer to beat Moose, if it happened, I'd be like, that's interesting. This is the one match where I'm like, please, God, don't let Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan win.
I agree.
Because, if it was OVE, I like Sami Callihan in that, but I don't want to see him as a champion with Ken Shamrock like that. I just don't want to do that. So so to me, if it leads to a storyline between them or something happens between him and Ken Shamrock, but to me it just seems it's kind of one of these things that it's just not a match where I'm excited to see the potential of a title change. I'm just like, it just doesn't make, like you said, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I get it. The storyline, honestly, leading up to it, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. The storyline and how they're doing it in ICU, so he's leaving and disappearing, and they hate each other, but they're rivals, and they band together. There's something really cool about that. Very rock and sock connection to, without saying it or bragging that they're the odd couple. They just organically are obviously people that, if they were real people, the characters would hate each other. And maybe in real life they do. I don't know. But so it's interesting from that standpoint for me. Confusing as why they're the opponents, why this is set up. Maybe there's something more. But if there isn't, I'm with you, and I'm praying that they are not the team.
Yeah.
No, that might not be your type of storyline. So from your perspective, that doesn't entice you. Me, I like the odd couple things sometimes, unless it leads to a vacancy or some bullshit like that.
To me, if you got two guys who aren't doing anything, the odd couple works. Like when you had the bar with Cesaro and Sheamus. They hated each other. They weren't doing anything. But even the Rock and Sock, to me, I would rather it just be. Now, granted, that gave us some great things, but I don't know.
Well, that together is a old time, a storyline that's always been done. I mean, look at Beer Money. Two guys who are big on their own, who never really crossed paths. Actually, were on a team within Team Canada ANTHEM when they were all healed, but they really weren't, they weren't rivals or anything until they were, and then they formed together and it worked. So
yeah, I mean, maybe it ends up working, but right now I would prefer the North.
I agree with you there.
So match 4, or well 3 in our order, but Alicia Edwards versus Havoc versus Kira Hogan versus Kimberly versus Kylie Ray versus Nevaeh versus Madison Rayne versus Rosemary versus Susie versus Tasha Steelz versus Taya Valkyrie in a gauntlet for the gold to determine the number 1 contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship match.
Good job, Max. Is Su Yung in that as well? No, just Susie?
No, just Susie.
Okay, so one, I think. Okay, let's before I get too far ahead. Let me think of my word here. Excited. I am excited about this match. Do you want to go, or do you want me to?
Well, you stole my word, so you can go.
Oh, we same one? Excited?
Yeah.
Hey, cool. So the reason I'm excited is because one, I love the gauntlet for the gold. I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that I don't care if people call it a ripoff. They should do one every year. It should be like the Royal Rumble. We should promote it. Impact's not known for doing that, probably because they don't want to pay everybody the day to have that many people in one episode. Truth is truth. But now that they're taking these chances, this is something dope that could be every year. So one, it's rare, so that's exciting. Two, it's the knockouts all getting the rub and shine, which I love. That big roster is getting an opportunity. I also love the idea of Battle Royal, then the last 2 people fight it out. And because right there, you can create a storyline simply off those 2 individuals being the last 2 alive in the gauntlet. So it brings a lot of storylines in. You can have Susie get pinned and then come back out as Su Yung, or excuse me, thrown over the top rope and then come back as Su Yung. You can have Taylor Wilde, who's been hinting at coming back. You can have the beautiful people come out. The opportunities for a lot of good people, like Gail Kim, to make a surprise entrance. Even there's a lot of opportunities for this to be something really cool. And I don't think they can mess that up. So I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited about it because, for one, like you said, it's the knockouts getting their opportunity. Impact to me has always been a company when it comes to the knockouts has given them their time. So this isn't going to be a situation where this is going to be a 6-minute match where they're chucking like people out every 2 seconds.
Right.
So I'm excited about that because I think it's going to give a lot of these people who, just because of time, may not have had the chance to have, people to see them, a chance to see them. And I think it's one of the matches where, I mean, there's a bunch of people in this match that could win it that I'd be super excited about.
Right.
Winning it. Kira Hogan, Tasha Steelz, Taya Valkyrie, Kylie Ray, Rosemary, Susie, just as Susie.
Right.
I'd be super excited about all those to kind of then see what the storyline is. So there's a bunch of people in here, and I don't think that there's a wrong. I guess out of the people who I could see win, I don't think there's a wrong choice.
Well, I don't think so either. Because the way I look at it is none of those people there, one, they're all entertaining in their own way. If we're not as entertained by them, it gives them an opportunity to get that spotlight to entertain.
Yeah.
But unless this is an instance where they can bring out a old veteran who's stealing the spotlight, because this is them, everyone you named there is still in their prime.
Yeah.
There isn't anyone named in that match that hasn't wrestled in 15 years and is going to come win the match and ruin it. So any way we spin this, it's really cool. Even if it's Taya, who was just the longest running champ, because she's just a cool character. So there's so many different possibilities that we probably couldn't guess. But as far as his word, excited is it? And if I had to guess, one surprise that's a lock, I'd say Taylor Wilde. It makes a lot of sense. She's hinting at it. But the one I would like to see is Awesome Kong. I don't know if who she's with or what's going on. Just throw her out there, man. Let's see.
Next match is Willie Mack, champion, versus Chris Bay, singles match for the Impact X Division Championship.
Look, I think it's too early for me, maybe not for Chris Bay, to win that championship. So for me, I'm still excited though. I'm cautious. I'm
gonna go with explosive. Like, I think this has the chance to be the best match on the card. A lot of times, like for me, when we would watch like older pay-per-views, when you lived like in the house, the X Division match was always the one that kind of stole the show. Like, they were always some of the best matches on the card, the X Division Championship matches, and I think this one could be that. I mean, Willie Mack, obviously not someone that you think of as your standard like X Division type wrestler, but I mean, Chris Bay is, and I think that this could. Yeah, I think that this could be the match. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the opening match to get people excited. So I could see that, and I think it could be the best match on the card.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's a great word. The only reason I say cautious is I love Chris Bay. I think it's going to probably be the banger of the night. I feel like we're getting back to that X Division where you got a guy versus a guy, and I know it sounds silly, but I just love the days of when it was just that they didn't have to throw any gimmicks. They just went out there and killed it. And it was generally either a gauntlet to figure out who's number one contender or just a championship match with one dude on one side and one on the other, and they dance, and it's fucking beautiful and crazy and explosive. So I'm excited for that way. The only thing is I don't want Chris Bay to win too early, is because I feel like we get a lot of guys who come in with hype, they win the belt, and then it dies down because what do they do now? So that's the only reason I say.
Next one is Jordan Grace, champion, versus Deonna Purrazzo, singles match for the Impact Knockouts Championship.
Torn. That's my word.
I'm cautious.
You're using cautious. Okay. Do you want to lead this one? Or you want to tell me?
Yeah. So I like Deonna Purrazzo. I liked her in NXT once she kind of got a gimmick. I like her gimmick here. And I'm really hoping. I mean, it's relatively quick for her to get this.
Very.
And I'm really hoping that she puts on a really good show, and win or lose shows, okay, this is a really good addition to the Knockouts roster. Because I know, like, when Emma came there, or Tenille Dash, I was super excited, and it's kind of flattened out just now. A lot of it has to do now that she's stuck in Australia, she can't come.
It's literally similar in storyline 5, yes.
So that's why I'm really cautious. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good match, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I said torn. It's because, one, I love what they're doing with Deonna. They made her a formidable character, champion, challenger, everything in such a short period of time. But once again, this is even shorter than Chris Bay winning it. So obviously I'm going to say this is too soon. But at the same time, I don't know how long will they have her for. Do I think it'll be another Tenille situation? No, because I like Tenille. I really do. But they brought her in as a face. It just wasn't going to work. She
needs to be a heel.
Deonna came in with a character, a vibe. I know who I am, and I'm here to wrestle and beat. So there's no issues with that or roadblocks. It was smooth sailing since day one from her, and she seems excited about it. The only problem is I love Jordan Grace, so that's why I'm torn. I don't want her to lose it because it feels very cagey. Where, oh yeah, man, I'm so excited for her to finally win it. I'm so excited for Cage to finally win it. Then injury or roadblock or coronavirus or whatever it is comes in, and unfortunately it ruins her buzz and her title reign. I don't want that to happen. So if they think they can resurrect that, I hope the belt stays on her. If not, I hope it goes on Deanna and maybe Jordan turns heel and gets her mojo back or something. So that's where I'm at.
So last match, which will obviously be the main event, Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey versus to be determined for the fatal 4-way match for the vacant Impact World Championship.
Scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Okay, fair enough. Here's the thing for me. I'm scared because as much as I love if Trouble, EC3 came out and won the championship, you'd be the EC3 time World Heavyweight Champion. But part of me just has a bad feeling when Impact, even though it's different now, when they give the guy, they shotgun the guy and they give him the championship right away. And I don't mean just like, oh, he comes in and he wins it, you know, eventually or what. No, I mean like that would be literally right away. Aries did it, has done it. Felt like RVD did, but he didn't. Who else came in and just won it? I know they gave it to Foley, but someone I'm missing in here. Alberto Del Rio. I think he was the other one. Where you just, big star came in, yeah, here's the title, hey, whatever. Not a fan of that. So that does scare me, even though I love this person more than the 2 men I just mentioned there. I love Ace. He would be the youngest since AJ to win the championship. He was already the youngest to win the X division, so he'd be following AJ's footsteps, which I think is the right path for him. Trey isn't ready, no matter how much angry they make him. He belongs. He's got to learn his craft in the X division, at least to me. Still got to fine tune there. But he's getting it. I dig him. And then Eddie, I always feel like Eddie deserves it because he has been a homer. He stayed there. He's always been Team Impact, TNA, whatever. So I think in a way, especially with this new character, finally he deserves to be rewarded. But it scares me who that fourth man is, how quickly, or if they win, or if who wins. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm scared.
So TBD sounds very close to EC3. I mean, I'm just so I think it makes sense for it to be him as the fourth man. Okay. If he wins it or not. So yes, it's giving somebody on their first night there the championship, but this isn't like John Cena coming over and doing it or Chris Jericho. Okay. He was in Impact. He was a part of Impact.
It's an exception. I'm okay.
Yeah. So I think my only thing about him winning it is obviously that fourth person was going to be Tessa. That was the plan.
Well, Tessa and Elgin, and obviously, yep.
Yeah. But I don't think she was going to retain the title. I think somebody was going to win it from her.
She wasn't resigned. There's no way.
So my question is, if the person that was supposed to win it was either Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards, or Trey, I think whoever was supposed to win it just sticks with it. If for some reason it was Elgin that they were going to have win it, I think in that situation, whoever they bring in, they will have win.
See, that's what scares me because I don't think it's EC3. If this was the 5-way, even Tessa was in it, I think Elgin was supposed to be the winner. I think we get Team Canada. There we go. Heel, boom, wonderful. So now that there's 3 of them, I think it does change who wins. Do they pull the trigger on Ace because they need to make it seem like that was their plan all along? They don't need to do anything. They can do whatever they want. They just need to make a good decision. Eddie, I think, is the best choice for me because he's a pro. And whoever the first challenger is, he's going to have a good match with them. He's going to get them accustomed to how Impact runs and how they do their style of matches. Because I think his first challenger will be the person who's to be determined. My prediction. And I think that's going to be Rusev. I think Rusev is the fourth guy because they view him as a main event player. If he's a main event player, for this, so say Eddie comes to the ring, or Trey, then Eddie, then Ace, whatever order they do. Then Aiden English comes out and says, says his thing, and whatever they're going to call Rusev, Miro, whatever, he does that, and Rusev comes out, and they have, that's gold.
Yeah.
But I still don't want him winning the championship.
Well, I wouldn't want him winning it because he'd never been there before. Okay. So if it's EC3, I'm okay with EC3 winning it. If it's AJ Styles comes back, I'm okay with him winning it. If it's somebody who's never been there before, I don't want them winning the title on their first day there. I don't think that that's the good way to do it unless you have a history with the company.
I agree with you. I like that. And I think the way they can do that without making the TBD look bad is EC3 pins Trey or whoever. Or not.
I feel like Trey's.
Excuse me, Eddie Edwards pins Trey or somebody.
I feel like Trey's eating the pin.
Yeah, and then Rusev is the first challenger to Eddie, and then he can determine if he's good or bad. Heel or face. So I like that. So one last word I need from you, or 2 words, or whatever. You called it with the club. What's the one name that we haven't really mentioned or haven't spent time on at all over the course of the past few episodes that you think will show up and make a surprise appearance, cameo, whatever you want to call it?
See, I don't know because I'm trying to think.
Do you want to bet on an Angle or a Sting or a returning like that or Bully Ray, or do you?
I mean, I think Bully Ray. I think he's a really good bet. We talked about him. What I was trying to remember is what is Big Cass doing? Ugh. Because I know him and Enzo worked together in ROH.
Recently they have, yeah.
But I'm not sure. But I want to say he had some issues, so I'm not sure if things are going well with him.
Yeah.
If they are, I think he could come back with Enzo.
Okay.
Because we've talked about it on the past couple episodes, they need tag teams.
Established.
Yes, established tag teams. So you bring in Anderson and Gallows, you bring in Enzo and Cass. You go from there. So I think that you bring in Heath Slater and Rhino.
Okay. Fair.
But I don't know. But I mean, we've talked about most of the big names that are out there, and we've done a lot of wondering. Like I would have said Aiden English, but we've talked about him coming in. Yeah. So there's just been a lot of things that we've discussed. I don't think it'll be Sting.
No. Okay. I'm not going to be as ballsy as say Sting. I'm going to say someone middle of the pack on both ends. Say James Storm. Say there's a James Storm appearance. I don't know his situation in NWA, but James Storm and TNA and Impact go hand in hand. And if he's not at Slammiversary, I mean, he hasn't been in a while, but he just fits, but is on his own thing right now to where it still would be a shock to me.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one.
That's what I'll go with. All right, so that was fun. We're going to be doing, I don't know if you'll be a part, we'll have to talk about it after this. We really haven't talked about it in a while, or we haven't talked in a while. We're going to be doing a preview show before Slammiversary that will air before the show, and then a live one the Sunday right after, just to talk about our feelings about Slammiversary and what happened. So, Craig and I, Max, you'd like to join on the Sunday, that'd be dope. But either way, this was a pleasure, my friend.
It was.
I'm going to get some sleep since it's 2:30.
2 o'clock in the morning, yep.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Max, you want to say anything?
When Anderson and Gallows show up, just remember, I called it first.
Okay.
So, and when EC3 shows up, I called it first. I may have an in with somebody at Impact. I can't reveal my sources.
Get out of here.
My magic 8-ball that sits in the corner. Is Anderson and Gallows coming to Impact? All signs point to yes. That's who I'm going with.
Oh man. Well, we'll end on that note. I got nothing else.
Later, everybody.
Yes.